Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
No breaks. No breaks. No fear. No fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome along. A slightly later than usual episode for this week, but with the postponements and changes to the fixture list through the course of this week, we thought we'd sort of wait until this point when we've got something to reflect on from the meetings this week and also look ahead to some big fixtures coming up over the remaining few days as we get to the back end of the British Speedway season. So we'll have some reaction from the Premiership Pairs on Thursday night at Belle Vue. We'll hear from the Ipswich team boss Chris Louis. We'll also hear from Brady Kurtz, the victorious Belle Vue Aces captain, after the Aces clinched round 5 for themselves in the Premiership Pairs. And reaction from the Championship Grand Final as well, which is set to be resolved this weekend at Leicester. And it is the Poole Pirates who take a slender advantage into that second leg. We'll hear from Poole's Richard Lawson and Danny King, plus from Leicester, Connor Mountain. And we'll hear from Richie Worrall too, and the Poole Pirates team manager, Neil Middleditch. That and much more to come on No Breaks, No Fear.
No breaks, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
And we'll start at the National Speedway Stadium, where Belle Vue made a triumphant homecoming after their league title success by winning the 5th round of the Premiership Pairs. The Aces, who were represented by Brady Kurtz, Mate Zagar and rising star Tom Brennan, defeated series leaders Ipswich with a 7-2 in the final. The result means the Manchester side could still mathematically win the competition in Monday's finale at Leicester, but the Witches are 12 points ahead and therefore they would need to finish last, with the Aces winning the meeting to leave the overall scores tied. There was a dramatic finish as well to the semi-final when Peterborough's Chris Harris crashed on the last bend, and with that incident sending Ipswich into the final. There was, however, a spot of controversy in the closing stages in who would face Ipswich in the semi-final race-off. 3 teams on 20 points, Peterborough, Sheffield and Wolverhampton. But who would make it through? It was decided via a ballot that Peterborough would be the team to take their place in that semi-final race-off. However, the SCB, the Speedway Control Bureau, have moved to apologise to Wolves following that decision, admitting an error was made in the calculation of the results of the semi-finals, where on the countback system, Wolves should have qualified for the race-off. 3 teams tied on 20 points. However, the SCB regulations state that if more than a 2-way tie, the team with the highest scoring heat results will qualify. Under this regulation, between the 3 tied teams, Wolverhampton, Peterborough and Sheffield, this meant that Sheffield finished in 5th position, having not scored any 6-3 results in their favour, whereas both Wolverhampton and Peterborough had 1 race each with a 6-3 advantage. Wolverhampton and Peterborough also had 1 race each of a 5-4 advantage. Thereafter, Wolverhampton had 1 race with a score of 4-5, whereas Peterborough had other 3 races where the scores were 3-6, meaning that Wolverhampton should have qualified with the higher scoring heat results. Managed to keep up with that? Good, me too. OK, so the 5th round finishing positions have been adjusted. Belle Vue were the winners, and they claim 12 points. Second place were Ipswich on 8. Third place, officially, Wolverhampton on 6 points. 4th place with 4 points awarded to them, Peterborough. 5th place, Sheffield with 2, and Kings Lynn scoring 0 points at the National Speedway Stadium. So the overall standings after round 5, it leaves Ipswich on 46 points. Belle Vue Aces now second in the Premiership Pairs tournament on 34. And as we mentioned, if Ipswich were to finish last and Belle Vue were to finish first, that would level things up. Sheffield 26, Kings Lynn 26, Wolverhampton 16 and Peterborough on 12 points. So those are the standings. Ipswich then were 1 heat away from wrapping up the Premiership Pairs tournament. As it is, they're going to have to ride again on Monday at the Paul Chapman & Sons Arena. Let's hear from the Ipswich team promoter, Chris Louis, talking to Lee Kilby and Paul Bowen from BSN.
Disappointing, but another good performance from your boys in this competition. Yeah. I don't think it wasn't disappointing really. Belle Vue, that pairing round here are pretty formidable. And we got a bit of luck in the semi-final, of course, with Bomber crashing. So obviously, we hope he's okay. But no, it was a solid performance. We've got a decent lead. We're taking that now into the same lead, I believe, different team chasing, but into the last one. So no, I can't fault the lads. Gave everything all night.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And Jason just absolutely leads by example, doesn't he? He doesn't like losing very much, but he absolutely leads by example when he's up front.
I did have that conversation with Eric going into, I think it was his third ride. I said, mate, I need points from you because you're going to upset Doyle and you don't want to do that. So, and he started making 1 or 2 starts for a bit there in the middle. But no, he's a winner. He wants to win. He races to win. And, and he's a team man. He said Eric could have whatever gate he wanted all night. We kind of stuck with the format with Eric on the inside. And, for the better part, it worked and we ended up in the final. So it was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mate, it's like I say, you've still got second place. You're going in, there's a 12-point difference now. We said before, Belle Vue have to win. You have to come dead last. Must give you a bit of confidence for the last round, knowing it's easily achievable.
Just turn up.
Well, the way our season's gone, that's probably what will happen, and we'll have to have a race-off, which we'll win. So, the lads, it's a comfortable position to be in, but, this is a competitive lineup. The first round, I think we were second from bottom, so it can happen. So we've got to go there, fully knowing that the lads are going to have to give 100%.
Talk to me about the Peterborough and everything. Choose off. Did you think that was the right decision, picking out of a hat, or would you like to see a race off?
No, it was sort of a little bit unprecedented, and there was a sort of a format for it, but it didn't really split them. It brought it down to 2, and when we saw that, all 3 teams agreed that the fairest thing that they wanted to do and the riders wanted to do was go out and entertain and put a race on. So disappointing in the end to come down to a ballot, but that's what happened.
But I think sometimes you have to get that scenario to know next time. Let's put a they're in the rules. Let's have a race off in there for it. Sometimes you can't foresee that, can you?
No, you can't, and that's unfortunate. At the end of the day, we're in the entertainment business, and I would have liked to have seen them race. 3 men, 1 winner into the semis.
Far more entertaining than a ballot.
Absolutely, I wasn't entertained by that at all.
I don't think any of us were, Chris, if I'm honest. But well done tonight, mate. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And give Doyley and Eric a pat on the back. And Anders, because he did
his job.
Absolutely.
It's rare that we get to a situation in a meeting where a ballot is required to decide something, but it is the only thing that's in the rule book. And the thing with the rules is you can't go inventing rules mid-meeting, as we saw in the British final. And I'm sure these things will be reviewed in the off-season for next year. For the Belle Vue Aces, though, well, it was a celebration for them of the Premiership trophy being paraded round in front of the fans at the National Speedway Stadium before the Pairs event, and then back on the podium again to lift another trophy, having won round 5 of the Premiership Pairs in front of their home crowd. Only the second team to do that in the Premiership Pairs this year, Ipswich being the other team to do that at Foxhall, and Belle Vue rewarding their fans who turned out on Thursday night with a bit more silverware as well. Let's hear from the winning team captain Brady Kurtz with Ryan Guest.
Well, Belle Vue skipper Brady Kurtz, a great way to round the season off here at the National Speedway Stadium with victory in round 5 of the Premiership Pairs. Your thoughts on tonight's meeting?
Yeah, it was really good. We finally got a win. We've been in a few finals, but it was nice to get a win, and obviously it was nice to come to Belle Vue and have our moment after the final, and to get another win was cool to finish off the year here, and we can say only be happy with it, really. Yeah, a lot of pressure in that final as well. Obviously Ipswich had got Doyley who'd been going well here tonight, and a win would have wrapped it up for Ipswich, but by you taking that 7-2 in the final takes things down to the last round at Leicester on Monday now. Yeah, Doyley's always a tough customer here, that's for sure, and he gave it to us a little bit in the final, but me and Matty managed to hang on, and once we got made it through the first lap, we were all settled in, and got the win. Yeah, Ipswich need to finish last on Monday for yourselves to have a chance, but nevertheless the boys will be going there to Leicester and giving it the all. It's all possible. There you go, Brady, congratulations. Thank you.
There's definitely an air of confidence around the National Speedway Stadium these days. They've got that 29-year thing off their back, and well, they've won another trophy again this week at the National Speedway Stadium, winning round 5 of the Premiership Pairs, and they could yet claim the whole tournament. They could take it down to a head-to-head if Ipswich were to finish last. Stranger things have happened, and Belle Vue need to win that round at Leicester. That'll be on Monday, so if you're in the area, get yourself down for some top-class speedway. The final round of the Premiership Pairs at the Paul Chapman & Sons Arena Prior to that, though, we've got more action at Leicester because on Saturday night it's the second leg of the Championship League Grand Final. The Leicester Lions versus the Poole Pirates. We had the first leg on Wednesday night at Poole Stadium, and it's the Pirates who take a slender lead to the Paul Chapman & Sons Arena. Now, it's going to be very, very close, of course, this one. An 8-point lead. Is it enough for the Poole Pirates? Well, we'll discuss that with team boss Neil Middleditch. We'll also hear from Connor Mountain of the Leicester Lions. We'll hear from Danny King, from Richard Lawson, and from Richie Worrall as well in the next part of No Breaks, No Fear.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome back. Turning our attention now to the Championship, and the Poole Pirates lead the Championship Grand Final 49-41 at the halfway stage after a dramatic first leg on Wednesday, which saw opponents Leicester race into an early 10-point lead. The Pirates were under serious pressure on their home circuit when they trailed 16-26 after 7 races, but they dominated the second half of the meeting and outscored the Lions by 10 points over the last 3 races to build an advantage. Richard Lawson got 12 and led the way with 4 wins, and reserve Zach Cook made another important contribution with 10+1 bonus. For Leicester, guest Scott Nicholls top scored with 9+2, with the Lions being without regular team boss Stuart Dixon, who'd been admitted to hospital on the Tuesday evening with chest pains, although he was released on Wednesday. In a few moments we'll hear from Neil Middleditch and from Richie Worrall and get their thoughts at this halfway stage. But first of all, I caught up with Richard Lawson in the pits after his performance there. Top scoring for the Pirates, 12 points for him. But even by Richard Lawson's standards, it wasn't a perfect evening, and the Pirates as a whole didn't have it their own way in the early stages.
We struggled early on. A couple of us had a couple of mechanicals, we were having a bit of a nightmare in the pits, but a testament to the team. Everyone just mucked in and stepped up. We never dropped our heads, and banged in them 5-1s towards the end, and to come away 8 up, we're chuffed to bits and full of confidence to take that to Leicester on Saturday.
And 10 down at one point, as you say, to come out 8 up. I mean, those 5-1s, those rapid 5-1s, just turn things around in the space. What was it, three heats or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. And not to forget, we were on a 5-1 when Ben lost his chain, and obviously Danny had his difficulties in Heat 1. So, we're actually thinking we should have won it by more. But like I said, we'll take that 8-point lead, and we go to Leicester with confidence.
And for you as well, I mean, your second ride, it was uncharacteristic really. It's very rare to see you in 4th place in a heat at Poole Stadium.
Yeah.
How was the view?
Not good. I'm not liking that one. I was struggling out at the start on my first bike. It wasn't pulling as well to the first corner. I got buried, and then I was just eating roost for 4 laps. I was trying, but couldn't make ends meet really. But swap bikes, and then after that it was 3 good victories, and we had plenty of speed after that.
And the track, obviously, a little bit heavier. I think 1 or 2 people were struggling. Maybe you lost a bit of your home advantage, perhaps, this evening. Maybe just the weather conditions and the moisture in the air and on the track.
Yeah, there is always that. As a home rider, any team would. When the conditions are bad, you go there with what you've been riding each week with that mentality, and sometimes it can go against you. So we'll take that also to Leicester on Saturday. The forecast ain't that great. There's been a lot of water, so I don't think the track's going to be perfect. So hopefully we can hit them hard early on, and if it goes down to the wire, it goes down to the wire. But nobody wants that.
Yeah, and that 8-point lead, of course, the home advantage obviously was something that you were hoping to capitalise on, and maybe you haven't done that quite so much. You have got a lead. Yep. So what is the plan for Leicester then? Because obviously it can be a tricky place to head.
It can be. We've been there obviously twice this year, and we've only lost by 2 or 4 points. So, and I know each rider dropped points that we shouldn't have in them meetings. So if we all turn up on our A game, we're going to go there and give it our all to try and just win the meeting outright. And that's what we'll forget about the lead and just take each race as it comes and see where we end up.
And some great help in the pits for the boys tonight. Celebrity help, like pro celebrity mechanics with Brady Kurtz and Jack Holder and Chris Holder knocking around as well.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's like royalty here. You don't get that. You don't get that many places, and they're a good bunch of guys. Like I said, they were helping out. Not just the Cook brothers, but coming up. Chris came over to me before 8:15 and just give me a couple of words, and it's nice. It gives you that boost, and it's such a great place here at Poole. Great people and great support.
And of course, it was a a decision for you to make last year about joining the Pirates, and obviously from what you just said, you must be glad that you made that choice.
Oh yeah, thank myself lucky. That it's worked out brilliant, and found a good home, and just every single meeting I've been here, it's been amazing. Just can't thank everyone enough.
Yeah, it sort of seems like Richard Lawson has been at the Poole Pirates for years, but he's fitted right in there this season and a firm fan's favourite at Poole Stadium. Let's hear from one of his opposite numbers in this grand final then, Richie Worrall. Now, Richie has been speaking to BSN and reflecting on how things went, because with Leicester having that big 10-point lead at one point, you're thinking, wow, this is going to be a tough night for the Poole Pirates. The Poole Pirates battling back into it. How do the Leicester Lions feel? They would have taken 8 points at the start of the meeting because they said as much. But when you've had a 10-point lead and lost it, are you still feeling that way? Here's Richie Worrall with Lee Kilby.
Yeah, my toy's been taken away from me, but hey, what are we up? We've got 8, so 8 down.
That's doable, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, last time they came, there was only 2 shy, but 2 behind us. But it's our track, and I think they just had a good day and we had a bad one. So, yeah, it's definitely doable. It definitely makes the second leg exciting anyway. No, it's not like it was last time.
No, absolutely not.
Exactly.
No.
So,
right.
let's roll on Saturday.
Yeah, that's good. And Scott's come in and done a good job for Carl.
Top scored.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he top scored at 10-1. So, yeah, it's Scott, and he's an excellent rider. Excels around here, he really does. So, thanks for him coming in, and I think he's back with us on Saturday as well.
Yeah, good. I think you should take a lot from that. Personally, I think that's a great result for you guys. It's only half time. You've got everything to play for when you go back there. Midlow will say different in a minute.
We'll get Neil in. He'll obviously disagree with us.
He'll be on the Jack and Coke in a bit, celebrating. Oh, he's already on it. Oh my God.
You obviously you've shown that Poole, who are the reigning champions. Let's be honest about that. But you've shown that you've spooked them a little bit here tonight, I think, Richie.
Well, like I said earlier on, when the track was catching them out, and obviously we're not familiar with this place, so it kind of it's not what they expect basically. So it suited us a little bit early on, and then they slowly kept chipping away. I just heard Richard saying then he had a bike problem early on, and so did Steve. Once Stevie sorted it, he got going. Or once the track probably got rideable, he got going. Danny buried himself in the fence. I was just looking there. It's pretty even Stevens across the board. We had one guy get 1 point, and so did they. So.
Good return from Connor Mountain for you guys tonight. 5 and a bonus.
He's had a
riding
strong
at number
finish.
2. So
strong finish at the end of the season with Sheffield and with us. Yeah, he's riding really well, Connor. Like I said, across the board there's pretty even Stevens. It's hard to say. Well, it didn't really go wrong anyway. We had a couple of races, obviously, where we have got a number 2 really at number 5. It has weakened us a bit. So we know we've got a couple of races where he's going to be out of his comfort zone a little bit, and he's going to struggle. So we've got to kind of look across the programme, especially for Saturday, and go right. We're going to lose it there, but hopefully we make it there. Because me and Scott as a 3 and a 4 pair, are pretty strong.
That's quite a strong power engine.
On paper, we're stronger than Steve and Drew. So that's probably where that's evened itself out a little bit. Yeah. But it is a hard job being a team manager. I wouldn't like to do it myself.
Well, I think you can walk away from this head held high. I know you're a little bit down at the minute, but absolutely no reason to be. And we wish you all the best in the second leg, and we'll see you on Saturday.
We will, weather permitting.
I don't say that.
Thank you,
Top man.
Richie Worrall.
Richie.
Well done. Thank you very much indeed. Let's the riders, the Poole Pirates are all out in the centre green, but here he is. You can smile a little bit now. You've got an 8-point cushion. Is it enough?
I said I'd like 10 or more. I mean, 8's it's hold on to it. We can hold on to that. I mean, if we ride like we rode tonight in the latter part of the meeting, when I had a chat with the boys halfway through, and I said we had 5.
Was it a chat or was it more than a chat?
Yeah. I don't think you could probably broadcast it. But no, I said we got 5 heats. I said we got to get that's many points as we possibly can out of the last 5 heats, and the boys were absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was better than I expected, if I'm perfectly honest. But absolutely outstanding comeback from the boys.
There were a couple of incidents really that were quite uncharacteristic of what we've been used to seeing on BSN here when we've been to Poole. Danny King coming off in Heat 1, and Ben Cook slipping a chain or a chain link breaking.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, these things happen, don't they? I mean, Benny was in front, which is even worse. These things never happen when you're in last place, And he wasn't too happy, to say the least. But yeah, that's Speedway, isn't it? I mean, things can happen, and they do happen. And but say 8 points is. I'm very pleased, if I'm perfectly honest.
And a big shout out, I think, for Zach tonight, reserve, phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, and absolutely amazing. I mean, Zach and Ben have been a key factor to us fighting back this season. I mean, they're the engine room, and they're doing over and above their jobs. And absolutely outstanding tonight. Zach's great pit crew: Chris Holder,
it doesn't get better.
Chris Holder, Jack Holder, and Brady Kurtz. So it's not a bad pit crew to have, is it? Yeah. So, and that really helped, because I mean, they can see a lot of things, and they told Zach where to ride the track, and he listened.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't get a better pit crew than that, and having those guys around who all know this track so well.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely, and they were a big thank you to those boys. To be fair, really was good to have them, because, I said to the boys, do not let your heads drop. They were all walking around a little bit. I said, do not let your heads drop. We got this. We're the Pirates. We've been here before. We can do this. Yeah. And with those boys, once a pirate, always a pirate, I suppose. Absolutely right. I mean, you put the skull and crossbones on, and it seemed to bring the best out in everybody. But tonight was, as I say, from 10 points down, it was looking pretty grim. Wonderful end. Wonderful end. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we might have a fairy tale ending. Who knows? We've certainly got a cracking meeting lined up, haven't we, on Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's. I know they've had a lot of problems with the track at Leicester with the weather, obviously, which we've all been experiencing. Hopefully, they can get a good race surface back. It's going to be a humdinger, that's for sure.
It certainly is, and there's Neil Middleditch. Let's have a look forward to it now with one of the Leicester riders, Connor Mountain, who's had a great season, and particularly the second half of the season. You've really been able to see his development, both with Leicester and with Sheffield as well, as Richie Worrall talked about in his little chat that we just heard there too. Let's hear from Connor Mountain now, who's been looking ahead to the second leg, Saturday night at the Paul Chapman & Sons Arena with Ryan Guest.
Connor Mountain, the first leg of the Championship Grand Final at Wimborne Road on Wednesday night was certainly an eventful one. The Lions obviously would have been hoping to be leading, obviously just fell away in the end.
Yeah, it did. I think we put in a good shift though. Obviously Poole are a great side at home, and to come away only 8 down is not a terrible result. Obviously we was 10 up at one point, so it would have been nice to come away with a win, but I think 8's definitely achievable.
I was going to say, it's certainly a bittersweet emotion, because like you say, you took some really early control in that one, and that might have surprised everyone, because like you say, Poole have been dominant in recent months there.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously we have won there this year, and we have had a disaster there this year, so we knew we need to get off to a good start, and try and get our confidence up and knock them down a bit, and we did that, but obviously they come back pretty strong towards the end, so like I say, 8 points down is not terrible going into the home leg, and I definitely think that's achievable.
Yeah, Stuart Dixon, will come on to him shortly, his own personal situation, but he made the brave decision to switch the riding order for the first time after what happened at Wimborne Road when you were beaten heavily last time, putting the Thompson twins out in a couple of races and stacking it in the middle with Richie and Scotty as well. Do you think that paid off overall when you look back at the races?
Yeah, I think Joe and Dan both picked up some valuable points, and obviously Scotty and Richie, that's a good pairing, in any race. So probably it was a good thing, and I think Scotty and Richie got a 5-1 in their first race, definitely. So obviously that was a strong pairing. And obviously we was without Stuart, but Gary come in and he done a good job as well. So thanks to him for that. And like I say, we just push on for the home leg now.
I think it's important we talk about Stuart as well, because he really does dedicate so many of his hours away from actual race nights to getting so much done at Leicester, behind the scenes, on the track, all sorts of things going on at the Paul Chapman & Sons Arena, and these nights are kind of what Stuart does it all for as well. So for him to be missing is absolutely gutting, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously. It's really unfortunate, and he put so much effort in all year, and like he's doing the track, he's travelling around the country, and obviously he wants to win. It's the most important fixture of the season. So obviously for him to miss that is gutting for us all. But I think that's perhaps a bit of motivation for us as well. We knew obviously we was without him, and he'd be watching, so we need to put a strong performance in for him. Yeah, nicely poised is an old cliche saying when it comes to two-legged affairs. But like you say, I think with the 8 point gap, knowing how Poole have been riding at Leicester in their previous visits as well, I think that basically is the right cliche to use. Yeah, that's it. It's going to be tough. It's going going to be tough, but we know we're strong at home, and we can get the job done. So yeah, we'll have to be on our A game for sure. But yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And for yourself, obviously came so close with Sheffield to almost turning it around. So extra determination and motivation for yourself on that front.
Yeah, we don't want 2 silver medals, that's for sure. And it'd be nice to get a gold. Yeah, we've done it before with Leicester, so yeah, I know it's like to win, and how gutting it is to be so close and to lose it in the last leg. So yeah, it's definitely looking forward to Saturday.
It sets itself up perfectly, doesn't it? An advantage of 8 points to the reigning champions, the Poole Pirates, up against the 2019 winners, the Leicester Lions. And Connor Mountain will be involved in that. Poole Pirates this season, though, have made no team changes at all. It's very, very rare that you would say that in Speedway. Usually, injury or something like that at least would intervene somewhere. Some amazing stats on Poole Pirates on the way in just a sec. First of all, let's hear from Danny King on the solidity of the Poole Pirates team and retaining their original 1-7 throughout.
Yeah, and I think that's good. It's a shame when you have to start chopping and changing, but I feel we deserve to be here with this team we had in March, and here we are. So it proved that I was right and everyone else was right, and it'd just be nice to go all the way now.
Yeah. You stepped up as captain and then drew one of your spare engines. Is it about how the engine is set up, or fast engine, but it's how it's set up really?
Yeah, it's. I just know obviously what works for me, and I've got a lot more experience. And Drew was in a bit of a place where he wasn't confident on his equipment, so that's what you do as a captain, isn't it? I said, look, I've got a couple of engines, they're all good. I ride them all, take one for the final. So that's where we're at.
So some great team spirit there, as you can hear from the Poole Pirates and the Leicester Lions as well, who are already a well-galvanised team, but particularly with the illness to Stuart Dixon, it's really focused the boys' minds on that and doing it for Stuart, definitely. Now, thanks to a man called Clive T, who got in touch, and he's been a contributor to the Poole programme in years gone by, and a bit of a Poole Pirates statistician, and some great stats here. We're talking about Poole keeping that same team together throughout the season. But listen to this, right? The Poole Pirates, in 24 Championship League matches to date, and that includes the home match versus Newcastle and all of the playoff matches, home and away, Poole have only used one guest in the league, and that's Dylan Rummel, for Drew Kemp at Glasgow on the 20th of May. That's the only time they've used a guest in the league. Now, they have used a guest and rider replacement in a Jubilee League match, which was on the 29th of July versus Birmingham at home at Poole. That's the only time they've used rider replacement and the only time that they've used another guest. Which is incredible to think that through the league season, the Poole Pirates have not used rider replacement in any match. All 3 heat leaders and the Cook brothers have ridden every single meeting. In 36 matches in all competitions, Poole have only failed to reach 42 points on 2 occasions. And that was at Plymouth on the 3rd of May, where they got 37 points, and at Edinburgh on the 8th of July, where they got 41 points, both in the league. And since returning to the Championship in 2021, Poole have visited Leicester 5 times, never scored less than 41 points, averaging 45 in 2 wins, 3 defeats, the best record of any visiting team, with nobody else having won there in that time. So it sets itself up nicely, because if Poole Pirates were to get their worst score, or match their worst score, of getting 41 points, that would leave the entire Championship Grand Final down to some kind of race-off to decide the entire thing. It's going to be that close. It all sets itself up perfectly for Saturday night. Don't miss it, folks. Get yourself down there in person. It's going to be a tremendous evening of Speedway. It will be live on BSN as well for the Poole Pirates visiting the Leicester Lions, the reigning champions. Can they retain the title? We'll find out on Saturday night. Okay, coming up in the next part then, we're going to hear from one rider who's already secured his future in British Speedway. That's Frederik Jacobsoen with the Kings Lynn Stars. We'll hear from him in just a moment on No Brakes, No Fear.
No Brakes, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome back. Some news coming out at the back end of this week regarding Edinburgh Monarchs, and we need to share this with you. We've got no interviews to bring you or any further information, but the Edinburgh Monarchs are set to race on in 2023, despite the impending sale of Armadale Stadium. Now, with their future at the venue highly uncertain, the club staged their farewell event earlier this month, but retained hope that if the stadium owners couldn't complete the sale at the present time, that Speedway could be given a temporary reprieve, and that's exactly what's happened. Co-promoter John Campbell said that we've been in contact with the stadium owners throughout the past 2 months as they work to clarify their current position on the sale of the stadium. Word reached us on Tuesday that they are now in a position to make the stadium available for Speedway in 2023. Informal discussions have continued since then, and we've reached an agreement in principle for the Monarchs to remain at Armadale Stadium in 2023. This is still subject to the formalisation of this agreement and confirmation of final details, which we will continue to work on in the days ahead. However, we have an excellent relationship with the Cochrane family and believe that this will conclude positively. So great news for not just for British Speedway, for Scottish Speedway, but of course for Edinburgh fans as well. Everybody benefits here because the Edinburgh name, the Edinburgh Monarchs team, they've been around for almost 100 years now, one of the longest running sides on and off through British Speedway's history. And that rivalry with Glasgow, of course, is key to that area as well. Armadale being not far really from Glasgow as things go. It's sort of on that very much the western side of Edinburgh, in between Edinburgh and Glasgow, really, just off the M8. And so a great rivalry there, and everybody loves seeing the Edinburgh Monarchs visit because they always put together a strong team. So we'll wait further information. I'm sure there'll be news on riders to come, hopefully in the coming weeks and months at the Edinburgh Monarchs. But to have Edinburgh set to race on in 2023 is indeed terrific news. Well, Edinburgh are not the only club looking ahead to 2023. All clubs are, and we're starting to hear one or two names coming out now of riders who'll be joining us in British Speedway in 2023. And one of those is Frederik Jacobsoen, who's been unveiled as the Kings Lynn Stars' first signing for 2023. The Miners and Brady Stars snapped up the Dane on a bargain average of 5.04 at the start of August. And despite making the impression, he's going to begin the new campaign on the same figure. And Ryan Guest has been for a chat with Frederik Jacobsoen, the Kings Lynn new signing for 2023.
Well, Frederik, obviously you've had a couple of months with Kings Lynn, a couple of months back in British Speedway. Was it an easy decision when the Kings Lynn management asked you to come back on board for next year?
Well, yeah, it sort of was after I got all the surroundings sort of settled in, with the Polish rules allowing it, and continue with my team here for next year. So yeah, after all that was sorted, it was an easy decision, as I've been feeling very good and very good taken care of by the Kings Lynn management and club. So this was an easy decision for me, yeah.
Yeah, in the meetings you have had for Kings Lynn as well, has it surprised you how well you've settled back into British Speedway, a whole host of double-figure scores?
Yeah, it's been good. I think it's only one meeting with not double figures, but I don't say I've been... of course I expect myself to do good, but I know it's a different scene here of racing. It's because it's sort of like each country and each league has its own rules. That's Poland is one sort of racing, England another, Denmark another. It's always like that. So I knew it was going to take me some time to settle in, but sorted my engines out pretty quickly after the first 2-3 meetings, and it's been going good since then.
Yeah, when you came into British Speedway for the very first time, the back end of 2018 with Poole, helped them win the league. It's always been something you've wanted to come back and do on a more permanent basis, and now you've got that chance.
Yeah, it's what I wanted to. I did, from July and on with Poole then, and was meant to have a go in the full 2019 season, but some problems occurred just before the season started, which didn't make it happen. And then I put my focus anywhere else. So now it's an opportunity gave it when Pole's season stopped, and I could make it here. And I think both from the Kings Lynn management and me, we saw it like an investment for the future as well, because I know I wanted to stay here for at least next year as well. So that was the plan for it, and happy to see they think like this as well.
Yeah, certainly many different tracks in British Speedway as well. Is that one of the reasons you want to do a full season over here?
Yeah, it is. It's as I said before, it's way different racing here as it is everywhere else, but each country has its own. But England has been treating me pretty good. It helps me stay sharp for my racing all the time. I only done probably around 30 meetings this year until August, like mid-August when I started for the Kings Lynn. So it's not a lot of meetings, because when I only can do the Polish league and Danish league, with the extra league, it's sort of limited meetings I can do in a year. So I want to do a bit more, and when the opportunity arrived now, I grabbed it straight away.
You've mentioned the management at Kings Lynn as well. They've made you feel welcome since you came in, how much they actually chased you to get you in the first place, and particularly Alex Brady is a new young team manager and certainly wants Kings Lynn to rise up the league now.
Yeah, for sure. I think he has a different view on things than some other one, and want to invest in it in a different way. And I'm pleased to see his eagerness to do everything for the club to do good and for the team. So that's something I wanted to be a part of. And I like Alex as a person as well. I get along good with him, and we've been chatting good since he came abroad to nearly catch me and make me sign for Kings Lynn. So it makes it funnier for me as well to be here.
Well, another rider also committing their future to their current club is Sheffield Tigers star and star of the Speedway Grand Prix, Jack Holder, returns to the Sheffield lineup for 2023. Announced in front of the crowd after their win over Ipswich last Monday. And Jack Holder has been having a chat with Ryan Guest.
Well, Jack Holder, the first Sheffield rider named on the team sheet for 2023, has just been unveiled here at Alderson, and a great reception as well.
Yeah, mate, can't complain. They love me here, which is always good. And yeah, we've had a great season this year. We fell short, which is a bit unfortunate. And but yeah, we'll make it up to everyone next year.
Yeah, certainly will. Throughout this season as well, once again in 2022, you really have shown your liking for this Alderton circuit.
Yeah, mate, it's awesome. Everyone, the other riders, sometimes don't really like it, which is always good for us boys. But yeah, it's a good racetrack, and as I said, good fans, good management, everyone else. So I couldn't look anywhere else.
Yeah, not only showing great commitment towards Sheffield as well by signing back up on board this early, but also to British Speedway as well, and that is something you still hold in high regard.
Yeah, mate, it's been good. I obviously had the chance to pick between Sweden or here, and I picked here, and I can't see it being a massive disadvantage. Some of the Grand Prix this year were pretty wet and rough and all that kind of stuff, and look, tonight it was quite wet, and but yeah, just bike time is everything. Sweden's obviously a bit harder competition, but England, bit trickier tracks, and that can work in your favour sometimes.
It certainly can. Jack, it's great to have you back, and we'll see you next season.
Thank you.
Yeah, team building starting to begin. Riders having discussions with clubs, and you'll hear more news over the coming weeks and months, I'm sure. Always keep an eye on the official British Speedway channels on social media, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for confirmed news as and when it is released from your favourite club, or indeed your least favourite club, whichever you fancy. And so that pretty much rounds us up with where we're at. To say it's been a fairly quiet week on the Speedway front, with only a few meetings taking place, but very, very much key meetings as well, with the Championship and the National Development League set to be decided over the course of this weekend. On Saturday night, Leicester versus the Poole Pirates, and of course Poole Pirates holding an 8-point advantage. Can Leicester overcome that? 6 o'clock the start time for that one at the Paul Chapman & Sons Arena. Following that fixture will be the Leicester Cubs versus the Mildenhall Fen Tigers, and Leicester have a 15-point lead on that one. It was sound like absolute chaos against Mildenhall in the first leg of that, because the two sides then raced, having ridden the first leg of the Development League Grand Final. They then had the Knockout Cup second leg at Mildenhall, which Leicester claimed, so well done to the Leicester Lions winning the Knockout Cup in the National League. But that fixture didn't finish until pretty much midnight. So this is what you can do when you've got no noise curfews around your tracks. Bizarre scene slightly there, but well done to Leicester Cubs. Already got some silverware, and they're going up against Mildenhall yet again, and they have a 15-point lead over the Fen Tigers for the second leg of the National League. So Leicester Lions versus the Poole Pirates, then the Leicester Cubs versus the Mildenhall Fen Tigers. And you can catch both of those fixtures if you can't be there in person. Of course, being there in person is always the first thing, but if you can't be there, you need to watch from afar, then both will be live streamed on BSN. And then we've got on Monday, we've got, actually on Sunday, there is a meeting on Sunday, actually, the Kent Pairs Championship. Kent rounding off their National League season there. They've got all sorts planned at Kent, a full afternoon of Speedway there, if you can make it. And then on Monday at Leicester, it's the Premiership Pairs Round 6. And of course, that tournament has yet to be decided. And will it be the Ipswich Witches, who you'd probably argue are champions-elect? Possibly, but the Belle Vue Aces can stop them watch that one on Monday night at the Paul Chapman & Sons Arena, 7:30 tapes up for that one. And then we've got the Premiership League Cup final still to go as well. And that will be on Wednesday between Sheffield and Kings Lynn. Sheffield have a healthy lead over Kings Lynn in that one going into their home fixture. And that will be 7:30 at Ollerton on Wednesday night. And that, in theory, should be the end of the British Speedway season with just the news about Leicester and Poole's Championship Jubilee League final, which is the only outstanding fixture which has yet to be slotted in. So we'll keep you up to date on that one, and we'll be back next week to round up all of that action, hopefully with news of the winners of the Premiership Pairs tournament and, of course, the Championship final as well between Leicester and Poole. And in the meantime, keep up to date with everything happening across British Speedway on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, britishspeedway.co.uk, the website to go to. And if you can get to any of those remaining meetings in person, we'll see you down there at the track. It'll be a long old winter before the Speedway season comes back, so enjoy these fixtures that are happening over the coming days. Some big fixtures and some big titles yet to be decided. And we'll catch you next week on No Breaks, No Fear.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Sports Social Podcast Network.